I believe ride or die right now. We are with Tua. This year, we're going to play it out. We're going to figure it out. If he balls out, he wins some playoff games, he's going to get paid huge amounts of money. If he doesn't ball out and kind of does what he did this past season, he'll still get paid a good amount of money, like 45, something like Kirk Cousins like money. Now, going into last season, it was all about Tua Tagovailoa's health. So I'm going to rewind back to last preseason, and then we're going to go forward from there. Joy Taylor, let's call her Miami's own.
Even though she's from Pittsburgh.
I know, but you understand what I'm saying. She worked here.
Listen to her show with Taylor Rooks.
Yeah, she worked with Zaslow for a while. Now she's out there at Fox Sports.
FS1, yeah.
She was asked. She was asked before last season. Once again, we're rewinding. What is the ceiling for Tua Tagovailoa with the Dolphins?
Joy, what is the ceiling for the Dolphins if Tua Tagovailoa is healthy?
Super Bowl.
Oh, woof. You said it so well. You did a great job.
When you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. I mean, Super Bowl. I think they can make the Super Bowl. If you can make the Super Bowl, you can win. Anything can happen. It's one game. I think the ceiling is high. They're 7-3 when he was healthy. He led the league in passer rating last year. We got an opportunity to see what Tua is capable of with talent around him. When the organization has said you're the guy, when you have a coach that believes in you. I mean, they brought in Tyreek Hill, they have Waddle, and he performed. The question is, can he stay healthy for an entire season? And can he be healthy at the end of the season and the postseason when it matters? And we'll find out. But the question of whether or not he can play at the highest level has been answered. Yeah. So it's really up to Tua staying healthy at this point. And if he can stay healthy, I don't know why he's not the Dolphins, with the talent that they have on both sides of the ball and what they built on last year, can't be in the mix with all the other teams in the AFC.
So let's fast forward now to present day. If Joy Taylor were asked that, do you feel as though, Vlad, she would say Super Bowl? And what do you think would be some of the caveats? Now, last year it was, can Tua stay healthy? We know now Tua can stay healthy. Do you think she would say Super Bowl? And do you think now the question is, can he win at the end of the season?
I don't know. Super Bowl now because the team. As of currently right now on March 24th, I think last year's team, it was way better than this year's team. Currently, right now, obviously, we still have to wait for the drafts. They wait for after June 1st when they are helped salary cap wise.
Xavier Howard,
right? So, and then they're able to sign some key free agent veterans. But, excuse me, I don't think you can say Super Bowl right now. One thing I could say about maybe luckily for the Dolphins is that everybody in that division has taken a step back, maybe for the exception of, the Jets, who've made some good moves during the offseason. But Buffalo's team is different. You got one of their players,
Jordan Poyer.
Right, and they let Gabe Davis go. So you have to see what's going to happen with the draft. Losing Christian Wilkins, Van Ginkel, X, that's a big part of your defense, and you have obviously the contract situation with Tua. So do I look at this 24 season as Super Bowl buzz for the Dolphins? I think right now
you just want to win a playoff game.
If the Dolphins get in a playoff and win a playoff game, I think that's a big step because I really do believe that this team currently right now is not better than the 11-6 team that went to the playoffs.
On paper, you would say that now, but this is a project that is still being worked on. Incomplete is what I would say. Do I think Joy Taylor would yell Super Bowl again this time like she did last year? I think right now it's to be determined. I don't know if they've gotten that much worse. I do understand Christian Wilkins, Van Ginkel, those guys are gone, but you still have a good core there. This is the thing, though. A lot of analysts, and analysts know everything. That's why they're analysts. Nonetheless, think that maybe the Dolphins should make some moves. We know that Joe Klatt has said that they need to trade off Tua Tagovailoa.
This is why this year's draft is, to me, the most interesting draft in the last 10, 15 years, because I do believe that the Dolphins, nobody's going to give Chris Greer credit, but I do believe he's done a good job of, plugging some holes with a couple of, with the signings that he made a year, 2-year deals, 1-year deals. He's not stuck with people. He got vets that can play, that can contribute right now. See what they do with that 22nd pick. But you're reading a lot of crazy stuff from all these draft analysts trying to say, Klatt had the Dolphins drafting Michael Penix because he feels that he's a better quarterback for that offense than Mike McDaniel, which was crazy to me.
Yeah, well, joining the fray is Joy Taylor's cohort over there at FS1, Nick Wright. Nick Wright believes that the Dolphins should reach out to the Minnesota Vikings because the Vikings, they do have 2 first-round picks, an 11th and 23rd. He feels as though they should reach out to them and offer some type of trade deal where Tua Tagovailoa goes to Minnesota. We get one of those draft picks. And oh, yes, Vlad, guess what? Use one of those draft picks to draft who? You said the name already.
Michael Penix?
Michael Penix Jr. He says it would be good for the Vikings because they could kind of ease some of the concerns with Justin Jefferson. It'd be good for the Dolphins because they could get the quarterback that they feel, I don't know who they feel, is a great fit for this team that could maybe get them over the hump. And you would still have the rookie contract and you wouldn't have to worry so much about money where you could fill other spots. In theory, to me, that sounds okay. But in actuality, would you give up Tua Tagovailoa, who you know can lead the league in passing and passing efficiency? He's done it over the past 2 years, 1 year passing efficiency, last year passing yards. Would you give up that for a huge question mark with Michael Penix Jr., who the ceiling is high, but also
Nah, it's not
the
that
base
high,
rate
bro.
can
He's
be
like
low.
24. What is he, like 23, 24?
And he has somewhat of an injury history.
He does have injury, and he's just a bigger version of Tua.
Yeah. But I mean, you get him on the cheap. That's, I think, part of the allure of this whole trade scenario.
From what I've been hearing the past 2 years, weren't teams wanting to come to Miami to play with Tua?
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that Tyreek? The minute he got to Miami, what he was doing was bigging up Tua, making everybody feel like that's one of the reasons why he came down here. That Tua was this great quarterback. Number wise, he's proven it, but the wins in the important moments, he hasn't shown up yet.
I think that's the thing now. I like to go back and hear what Joy Taylor said. Super Bowl. We just need to see if Tua can stay healthy. Tua stays healthy. The question mark is no longer can Tua stay healthy. Maybe the healthiest quarterback in the league last year. Never even a whisper of him being hurt.
No, Patty. 15 played.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think, though, he's just a freak. Like, I think he does kind of get hurt a little bit, but he's like double jointed and he's got vampire blood and, you know, everything's fine with Patrick Mahomes. But okay, so the question is no longer can Tua Tagovailoa stay healthy? The question is now, I think rightfully so, can he win in December and win in January? And this is the point. You can be, and this is Aaron Rodgers, your quarterback, you can be as great as you want. Peyton Manning had this problem too for a long point. As great as you want week 1 through 17. That's awesome. That's great. But what do you do after that? Or really, what do you do? You can be great. A lot of guys, and Tua, let's be honest, last season, 1 through 13, you were fantastic. You might have been an MVP, top 3 MVP candidate. But what'd you do 13 to 17 and going past that point? Isn't that when you want your quarterback to really, really shine? Who cares? Just get the Heat say it all the time. Let's just get us in. That's all we need. I feel as though, you look at the guys that make their bank and make their play. Patrick Mahomes didn't have that great of a regular season, but when it came down to cutting time, he was Patrick Mahomes. And everybody said, what's wrong with these Chiefs? Of course, a lot of passes were dropped, so that hurts your stats a little bit. And actually, you look at Patrick Mahomes' stats in some of the big wins. They weren't fantastic, but they were quality stats. Passes made, rushes made when they were needed to be made. And, give the Kelsey brothers some credit. I kind of gave them a hard time. Jason and Travis Kelsey on their podcast said, I like the Dolphins. Thing is, though, they don't win the big games at the end of the season. And winning in December is different than winning in September and even November, October. The Dolphins this year, I have no doubt, will start off hot. And I'm going to get what everyone got me last year with. And I kind of got, what do you want to call them? Bamboozled. I was out at the tailgates. I was out at all the events, and everyone would come to me, Dan Day, I know this team. And I'd say, no, you don't know this team. This team's different. Like, I know this team. And I said, no, this team's built to win. They're going to win these big games.
Yeah, in September and October.
And they said, this team's going to fall apart at the end of the season. I said, don't you dare. Watch out. They beat the Cowboys. I thought, we're over the hump. We're good. Lo and behold, Dolphins fans that live their whole lives loving the Dolphins, living and dying with them, still ride or die. They knew better than me. So I'm going to go in this year, Vlad, and they're going to start 7-3, 8-3, and I'm going to say, hold tight. I'm going to pump the brakes this year and say, hold tight. We need to win a little more when it counts. That's the only question now. Tua does that. He's going to end up being what? Second or third highest paid player in the league. I have no doubt about it. But can he do it now is the question. Can he do it?
I think you should draft a wide receiver.
What? Huh?
Yeah, I think you should.
You have Tyreek Hill, who I think was the MVP last
Are
year.
you going to sign him back again?
Yes, of course.
Even with all the troubles
Well,
that's brewing?
Once again, he could have had 2,000 yards if he didn't get hurt. You saw when he didn't play what happened. You saw the only guy who made a play in that playoff game was Tyreek Hill, who went back and caught a touchdown pass. You got Jalen Waddle.
Because, fam, you're going to have to make a decision.
Jonnu Smith?
Very shortly
Mm-hmm.
of renewing Tyreek's contract.
Done.
And extending Jalen Waddle.
Done.
So you're going to have $60 million?
Jonnu Smith, you got him.
No, you're going to have 60. No. So you're willing to pay $60 million
You got to do what you got to do.
On the wide receiver position.
Got to do what you got to do. You got a quarterback. You got two guys.
So you're going to have a quarterback that's about to make $45 to $50 million. And then two wide receivers that are about to make $25 to $35 million.
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
This is the thing. In this offense, the way it's put together is it's more of just throw it where they ain't and hope they get there in time. Do you want to go offensive line? Everybody's saying offensive line, offensive line. We had a piecemeal offensive line last year that did more than an admirable job. Defense, that was great. Now you did have some subtractions. It's going to be interesting to see what Chris Greer and these guys do. You're saying right now, go get a receiver. And then what you have to, if you get a receiver, then you deal either Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle.
Then you sign one and you have another one
you
for
have
the
the
next
rookie.
5 years. Yeah.
That is interesting. Yeah. And if Tyreek Hill,
Especially in this type of draft.
And Vlad, and let's say this, Tyreek Hill has been writing checks his butt can't cash for a while. He's one step away from making a huge mistake.
It's starting to snowball, and it's starting, you know what? It's starting to pick up speed.
And this bum, Roger Goodell, and I know, whatever. He still could come in with the incident in January that was alleged that the police responded to, where Tyreek Hill and his old lady got into it, and he supposedly, allegedly shoved an unlit cigar in her face. Roger Goodell can come in and just suspend him. Roger Goodell has final say. He has the God complex. What if Tyreek does something off the field finally, and that's it?
He needs to relax a little bit, but he
needs
to chill.
But you do bring up a good point, Vlad. Maybe a wide receiver isn't your worst bet. You go put him out there this year. He does a good job. Maybe something happens with Tyreek, or maybe he's just a backup plan. You figure, hey, this guy's really good. So you might have something right there. And that's the league we have now. The offensive line, like I said, it was piecemeal last year, but did an admirable job. The defense, we know it can be a top 10 defense in the league. You still have, enough pieces to make it work, minus Christian Wilkins. Xavier Howard, I don't think it's the biggest loss in the world. I think it's just one of those things. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see on draft day what we do. I do not think, though, trading Tua Tagovailoa to the Minnesota Vikings a good idea to try to get up.
By the way, that's the dumbest thing ever.
And get Michael Penix Jr. I think people are looking for things to talk about.
Listen, you think Kevin O'Connell's not going to go to Brian Flores and says, "Oh, we're thinking about getting Tua"? He's going to be like, "Hell no,
no."
I'll make sure this defense will make him look bad in practice every day.
Yeah. And also, by the way, you think Tua wants to go to Minnesota, where you know who the defensive coordinator in Minnesota is?
I just said Brian Flores.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Kevin O'Connell.
No, I said, do you think Kevin O'Connell's not going to go to Brian Flores and says, "Hey, we're thinking about bringing Tua," and he's going to say no?
Yeah,
I'm going to make him look bad in practice every day. No, like clearly there was. And why would Tua go to Minnesota? He would tell them like he would not go there. But he would tell them, "No, I'm not going there."
Hawkinson.
He does not mess with Brian Flores.
Indoor games.
Doesn't mess with Brian Flores.
I'm just saying
that's great, but you also got to go to. Guess what? You also got to go to Chicago and
Green Bay. Not good. Not good. Okay, so Dolphins fans, you're not getting Michael Penix Jr. You're riding with Tua Tagovailoa. Some people are saying, "Yay!" Some people are saying, "Oh."